Okay, so we're working with section 6-4, and in this section we're going to talk about finding and correcting errors in the worksheet. Hopefully nobody has any errors in their worksheet, but if they did, these are some of the typical errors that you might make. Okay, so go close your laptops down for me, folks, please. Okay, so a typical type of error is that you don't post a journal entry properly. So journal entry is not properly posted. Another type of error could be that information is not transferred correctly from the ledger to the actual worksheet trial balance column. So you put a number in there wrong. Okay, you transpose some numbers, could be. You record the adjustment information incorrectly. The most common error in the adjustments is people not putting the balance on hand in the balance sheet, but putting the balance on hand as the adjustment. Okay, and then putting the adjustment where the balance on hand is. Don't make that mistake. Okay, that's the most common mistake. When they give you the problem, the balance on hand is always going to be the amount that goes into the balance sheet columns on the worksheet. The difference goes in the adjustment. Adding columns incorrectly. Remember the other day when we did the worksheet? A couple people right away, I have a difference, they don't equal. It's because you didn't add correctly. That's probably the most common thing. People adding too quickly or whatever. And then other errors are extending the balances into the balance sheet or income statement columns incorrectly. Okay? Extending the income statement and account balances into the balance sheet columns or vice versa. Okay? When two columns are not in balance, the first thing you should do honestly the first thing you should do is re-add them. Okay? That's the very first thing you should do, just to make sure you didn't make an adding mistake. Second thing, subtract the difference of the smaller from the larger to find out what the difference is. If the difference is 1, has a 1, such as 0.01 or 0.10 or $1 or $10, it's most likely that you did an addition error. Okay? That's most likely what it is. Okay? If the difference can be divided by 2 evenly, look for half of that difference as an entry that was recorded as a debit rather than as a credit. So for instance, if the balance was off by $100, divided by 2, if it comes out to be 50, look for an entry that should have been that for 50 in your journal that was maybe put into the credit column instead of into the debit column, because it makes a doubling impact difference. Okay, so if you added something, it should have been in the debit column, and now you swung it over into the credit column. Now your difference is going to be double. Okay, because you're now double adding it into the credit column. Okay, if the difference can be divided evenly by 9. That means you've transposed a number in all likelihood. You should have written 54 and you wrote 45. So look for that. Slide numbers are where you did say you wrote 12 instead of 120. So you left off the 0. If you omitted, if the difference is an omitted amount, look for an amount equal to the difference that may not have been extended. So that's another error that you can look for. Obviously, to try to prevent errors, be careful. Check over your work frequently, proving it. Use a calculator. Don't try to add these in your head. Okay? Once you find an error, fix it before moving on. And like I said before, most errors are math errors, so work carefully. Correcting an error and posting to the wrong account. So first thing is draw a line through the entire entry and recalculate the account balance and correct the worksheet. And then record the posting in the correct account and recalculate the account balance and correct the worksheet. Okay, so this is obviously a situation where we put something in the prepaid insurance account and it should have been in the supplies account. Okay, and then go and you would draw a line through the incorrect account, incorrect amount. So this, you wrote in as 700, you should have written it in as 70. So now you've got to change not only the amount, but you also have to correct the balance. Okay, and recalculate the balance and correct the balance on the ledger. Draw a line through the incorrect account item and correct the amount, and then repost in the, record the posting in the correct account column. Okay, and then these are just the rest of our terms. Okay, most of you, honestly, most of you are pretty careful, so I'm not anticipating that you'll make a lot of these mistakes. But if you do, go back through those steps before you move on. Okie dokie? Let's